Colin, was part of the appeal of this project to be a part of something, a film that we don't normally see you in?
I think you go mad if you try to think, you try to judge things according to what other people will expect or not expect to see. You just have to like the idea. And so meeting Matthew, I felt enthused. He's not quite like anybody else. You know, I went to meet him in a house which had no furnishings of any kind at all, and I think we sat on boxes. There was a plank for a table. And he spoke in his sort of uniquely, he had a kind of, I don't know, it had a childlike enthusiasm, but at the same time it had a sort of world-weary edge to it. But it was so individual and so single-minded, and also very, very honest about how I'm not going to do this unless I can make this work. He hadn't finished writing the script yet. You know, there's a problem I haven't solved in the second act, and I can't make that work. This isn't going to happen. And this is about a year away already, at least, from shooting, and warning me about all sorts of things, including the burden of training that would be expected of me. So I'm going to need you to be in such great shape for this. I need you. You're going to be worked into the ground. You'll hate me at the end of it. Told me what he'd done to the actors on Kick-Ass and various films and how much training. And actually, I just felt exhilarated. It just wasn't run-of-the-mill stuff. It wasn't, here's the script, like it, don't like it, start in a few months. I just thought it was worth jumping in, and I was convinced this would be interesting.
And Taron, your character basically gets to be James Bond by the end of the film. I mean, is that, as a young actor, is that sort of a dream come true?
Of course it is. I mean, I think any young guy, or quite possibly girl too, dreams of playing a superhero or playing a super spy, and there is something kind of slightly superhuman about what the Kingsmen do. So yeah, it's amazing, and it's like, I think it's something that's often said, that acting is basically like playing. It's like what you do when you're a kid, and you think you're Superman and you're jumping from one arm of the sofa to the other arm, except that someone has spent weeks and months designing and building the suits and the gadgets. Your cape is really there. Your Superman cape is really there. So yeah, it's amazing. It's so thrilling, and it's kind of licensed to be a big kid again and really, really enjoy it.
And Sophie, your character is badass in her own right. What motivates her? And can you talk a little bit about her relationship to Taron's character?
Yeah, I think what motivates her, especially when she gets to the Kingsman, is she realises what an antiquated institution it is, and Michael Caine's character, the idea of having a woman in the Kingsman is almost abhorrent to them. Why would they be there? So that's a huge motivation to kind of prove people wrong and be seen in her own right, not just I'm going to be a female Kingsman, I'm going to be the Kingsman. Sex isn't a question. And her overcoming those challenges, and Eggsy overcoming his challenge of not being of the same social standing or maybe not having the same education. There's no way she'd form a bond with anyone else in that group because they're all incredibly ruthless. Their morals, they'd kind of trample over their own mother to do it, and she sees that they could be a match for each other in terms of companionship, and kind of they can rely on each other and they trust each other. But I think they respect that they both want it just as much as each other.